Pau Hana Years, a new day for older Americans, a time for living. Your host, Bob Barker.
Hi, and welcome to the program for and by the senior citizens of Hawaii. The Hawaiian Music Foundation, in its comparatively short life, is quite a success story, and we'll find out why from its president, George Kanahele. George, before you and I talk, will you introduce our musical guests?
Sure. Bill Lincoln, one of Hawaii's better-known senior musicians, who now performs regularly at the Maile Room of the Kahala Hilton. Kauana Pukahi, a hidden talent but with an extraordinary Hawaiian voice. James Papa, a retired fireman at 57, but with a lovely falsetto. And Alan Akaka, at 19 years of age, an endangered species in the sense that he is probably the youngest of the up-and-coming steel guitarists in the islands.
And their first number will be?
Tuberose.
Oh, that was beautiful, beautiful. George, when was the Hawaiian Music Foundation organized?
In March of 1971.
So it's just a little over 4 years old then.
Yes, we're heading into our fifth.
Why was it organized?
At the time, a number of people felt that Hawaiian music was declining in popularity, For example, there was no Hawaiian show as such in any of the Waikiki hotels, with the exception of one. Young people were much more interested in rock, which at the time was very, very popular, and so on and so forth. So we felt that there was a need for an organized effort to perpetuate and strengthen and develop the music of the islands, particularly the traditional Hawaiian music. And so as a consequence, a few interested citizens got together and organized the Hawaiian Music Foundation, the first of its kind.
Did you feel that at that particular time the need was especially big compared to what had been before? I mean, was that a particular low period?
I really don't know, not being a historian of the development of Hawaiian music, but it seemed to be, because we received a great deal of public response, and I think if it were not for that kind of response, we would not have been as excited or as motivated in the movement. So I think the idea, the time for the idea had come, and so we did it.
Now, do you have a set of objectives, what you hope to achieve?
Yes, as I've already indicated, the foundation was set up to perpetuate and develop and strengthen Hawaiian music, but also at the same time to enhance the quality and improve the quality of Hawaiian music, and finally to improve the standing and welfare of the Hawaiian musician, particularly the professional musician, who in the final analysis is the transmitter of the music, particularly the best kind of quality Hawaiian music.
And a good share of the aloha spirit of the islands, too.
Oh, yes. The two, I think, are inseparable.
What are your main programs or activities that you've had?
Over the past 4.5 years, we have ranged from providing scholarships for students and research grants to producing concerts. For example, one of our very first activities was producing the first slack key concert. Imagine that the slack key guitar, which had been around for about 125 years or so, had never had its own concert as such until we produced that concert. And that was a very successful event because it was a sellout. The second concert, which we did in response to popular demand, was equally successful. But those concerts were really the beginning of a series of artistic concerts that we have done now over the past few years, twice a year on all of the islands. Important because they have provided the main funding for the foundation.
The main funding, as well as presenting and promoting Hawaiian music.
Oh, no question.
Twofold purpose, then.
Exactly, and I think we have set a standard, or at least we have tried to set a standard in terms of Hawaiian concerts for others to follow. We think that we also started the large number of concerts that have been taking place, and perhaps so many that they have actually saturated the market.
Now, you mentioned scholarships and some other things other than concerts. Can you give a little more detail on that?
We have a modest grant and scholarship program which provides, for example, tuitions for young students like Alan Akaka, the steel guitarist, who's appearing on the program today. And we have also provided scholarships to graduate students who are doing advanced studies in Hawaiian music, or even to professional musicians to carry on research in Hawaiian compositions, the history of Hawaiian songs, and so forth. Another very fascinating project, which we initiated this year, is the Halau Mele Hawaii, that is the School for Hawaiian Music.
Oh.
The first of which we set up in cooperation with St. Louis High School. And the arrangement is that St. Louis provides the facilities and utilities, and the foundation provides the financing and management of the school. Our first course had a maximum of 60 students, and our second course begins, in fact, this summer with another 60 or even more students, with 3 classes in the slack key guitar, steel guitar, and the making and playing of ancient Hawaiian instruments. And may I say that at the end of 5 years, we have a 5-year development program, but by 1980 we hope to have at least 16 or 20 of these halauas scattered all over the state, with a total annual enrollment of about 2,500 students. And it's probably the only way by which we will be able to fulfill our main objective.
Now, you also make some annual awards, don't you?
Yes, we do. The Hawaii Aloha Award is given to that person who makes the most outstanding contribution to Hawaiian music. And the past 4 awards have gone to all senior citizens, in fact.
Oh, really?
Mary Kauana Pukahi,
oh, yes.
who is in her 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Martha Hohu, Auntie Alice Namakelua, who is 83, and Johnny Almeida, who is also in his 70s.
They've all been here on Pau Hana Years, too.
Have they?
Yes, every one of them.
We'd also like to enlarge the number of these awards, because so many outstanding people are recognized only after they've gone.
Yes, yes.
And so we hope to award more people while they are still active.
Now, the foundation was involved in the television program here on this station, wasn't it? Mele Hawaii.
Right. I must say we were all very pleased at the way that program turned out. We take some of the credit for having initiated the idea, at least, but certainly the Hawaii Public Television did a marvelous job with that program.
Your vice president was the associate producer, wasn't she?
Right, Noelani Mahoe. And incidentally, we've received a great amount of positive comment from people on the mainland, as well as people here who saw the program. And I hope that someday we may be able to continue that series with the station.
Yes. Well, now let's have another musical number. What will it be this time?
Makalapua.
Very good. Oh, just great. George, why is the promotion of Hawaiian music important for Hawaii?
Hawaiian music has to do with the soul of Hawaii, and that really is the essence of the vitality of this community. And its roots go back to Hawaiian culture, and music is an integral part of Hawaiian culture. Also, Hawaiian music is identified with Hawaii all over the world. I think too few people realize the importance of that fact. Many members of the Hawaiian Music Foundation, for instance, are found in countries around the world. And from the letters we receive from them, it's very clear that in their minds, at least, Hawaiian music is Hawaii. So from that standpoint, Hawaiian music is important not only for us who live here, but for our friends across the seas who, when they think of the islands, think mostly in musical terms.
I would venture to say that's probably more true of Hawaii than it is any other part of the country, not the country, the world. The music being so identified and so much a part of the culture.
I would tend to agree with you. Perhaps I'm a little biased in that respect, but I think that even more than the hula, than the dance, or any of our Hawaiian native crafts, that Hawaiian music is the most popular aspect of Hawaiian culture known throughout the world.
Do you have any way of knowing how the popularity of Hawaiian music outside the state is, let's say, standing up compared to what it was in the past?
Yes, we have some indications from our friends in places like Japan who say that in the past 10 years, the popularity of Hawaiian music there has declined considerably. I'll give you a statistic. About 10 years ago, there were as many as 230 bands playing Hawaiian music in Japan alone, but today they're down to about 5 or so. And part of the reason for this is that the younger generation has a different kind of musical preference for rock and so on. Also, another indication of this decline in popularity is the low sales volume of Hawaiian recordings on the mainland as compared to the 1950s or the 1940s. So, sad as it might be, the popularity of Hawaiian music these days is not as it used to be. For example, back in the 1930s, I understand, Hawaiian music was the rage all over the world.
Yes, well, I can remember from a personal standpoint, I was in radio back 30, 40 years ago, and back before the current disc jockey setup, when they had programs rather than a disc jockey running one record after another. And there were Hawaiian programs, and there were other types of programs, a half-hour, 15-minute, or hour blocks. And they had Hawaiian programs then. Well, now that we're just playing records, they're just playing the most popular records these days. And I think maybe that has a bearing on it, too. You don't hear Hawaiian music around the country, around the world.
No question about that. But we hope to change that scene.
You mentioned members outside the state, outside the country. How did they become members? How did they know about this?
Well, I don't think we have that kind of an advertising program, but we do have a monthly publication called Ha'ilono Mele, or News of Hawaiian Music, through which we advertise and publicize the Foundation's purposes and activities. That has been an important medium in acquainting people in the state as well as outside of the state with the Foundation. And as a result, we have received a good number of letters, and through those letters, memberships in countries such as Indonesia, Australia, Holland, some of the Germanic countries, some countries in Asia, Japan and Hong Kong, and so on. So we have an international clientele, and one of the important achievements of the foundation has been to make people aware of the fact that there are Hawaiian music aficionados all over the world.
Oh, yes. Tie them together, bring them together. And I read in one of the news columns just recently that in some foreign country, somebody wanted to start an affiliate of the Hawaiian Music Foundation.
Right, in Tokyo.
In Tokyo. What events are coming up in the future that we should be aware of?
I mentioned earlier the Halau Mele, or our School for Hawaiian Music. That school will be sponsoring a recital for its students in August, on August 17th at the HIC Concert Hall. And it'll be free unless you want to make a donation. Then in November, during Hawaiian Music Week, annually proclaimed by the governor, we have a falsetto concert planned, which would be a sequel to our first very successful and popular falsetto concert. And in the meantime, we have other halaus which we plan to establish, other publications which we hope to publish, and so on.
You have how many members now?
We have something close to 600 members, and we just started our membership drive.
You're looking for new members.
Oh,
You're
yes.
looking for new members.
And we welcome anyone.
What does membership entitle one to besides support of the foundation?
Well, first of all, an annual free subscription to Ha'ilona Mele, the only publication of its kind dealing with Hawaiian music. Also, advance notice on any of our programs, particularly our concerts, which often are sellouts, and an opportunity to participate with us in some of our activities dealing with the fascinating world of Hawaiian music.
Well, George, I want to give you my personal check for my membership and my family.
First of all, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bob.
And now, what are the musicians going to do to wrap it up?
Nu'uanu.
Nu'uanu. Our thanks to Bill Lincoln, James Papa, Kauana Pukahi, Alan Akaka, and to George Kanahele, president of the Hawaiian Music Foundation. Until our next program, this is Bob Barker leaving you with this thought. The history of a land is written in its music.